All right, everybody, do me a favor. If you can see that ugly orange PowerPoint slide up on your screen, go ahead and raise your hand through the interface there. All right, we got hands up, so it looks like we are streaming. We are recording, so I guess we're ready to get started. A little bit of housekeeping today. If you have any questions as we go through today's webinar, please submit them using the Q&A, the question and answer box. Do not raise your hand, do not use chat, Q&A. Send them in via Q&A, and that will ensure that I can see them as you send them in, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go through today. So, today's webinar is about Nebula. So this is a general overview of the Nebula platform, what it offers. If you're interested in some of the new changes and the new features we rolled out in the middle of January, I will have a dedicated webinar just talking about those new features and how to use them coming up here in, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. So keep your eye open for the invite for that. But without further ado, we will get started. Maybe. If my computer wants to work for me. There we go. So Nebula is Zyxel's cloud-managed platform. So basically the idea behind this is to take all of your customers, all of their sites, and all of your networking hardware and manage it all through one simple, easy-to-use web-based interface that you can access from wherever you are. The idea here is to make it easier for you to install the hardware, make it easier for you to configure the network, deploy the network, and be able to troubleshoot and help your customers over time. If you've used something like Meraki in the past, or you're familiar with Meraki, it's the same general idea, only we don't lock you out of your hardware if you don't pay fees to use it. And we've built this from the ground up, aimed primarily at the small MSP and the SMB space, whereas Meraki is more enterprise focused. So to show you here, this is going through sort of the things you would need to do to set up and manage your customer's network. Anywhere you see anything that's gray, it's an area where Nebula is saving you time, saving you money, or saving you both. So obviously you still have to go out and buy your networking equipment, any licenses, etc. So then when it comes to installing the equipment, we reduce the amount of time that needs to go into installing it. Installation is going to be basically plug and play. As long as the hardware has power and an internet connection, it will automatically reach out to the network, download its configuration. So there's no local configuration required on most networks. The exception being if you have a network where you must absolutely put in fixed IP addresses, in which case you will have to add the fixed IP address locally, but then from that point on, everything will be handled through the cloud. Monitoring is handled by the cloud, so you don't need to spend time figuring out how you want to do your monitoring. Remote access is all handled through the cloud, so there's no need to set up VPNs or port forwarding for remote access. The cloud itself will become your monitoring platform, so you don't need to buy another piece of software like SolarWinds or Zabbix to be able to create logs and reports and things like that. However, having said that, Nebula equipment still works with SNMP, still works with syslogs, so if you've already got something you like and you've got it configured the way you want it, you can still use that to monitor your networks. Logs are automatically stored in the cloud for you, so you don't need to worry about local storage or offlining that information. Updates and changes are all handled through the cloud. Again, it's a single pane of glass. Make the changes you want. We'll check them, make sure they're being applied in the correct order so nothing loses connectivity, and we'll push those out to the devices themselves for you. And then you've got your users and device management. So we'll go in through some of these things and drill down in a little bit more depth into how some of this works. So one of the cool things here with Nebula is you don't even have to remove the hardware from the box to assign it to a customer and start configuring it. We have QR codes both on the hardware itself and on the outside of the box. So if you have stuff shipped to you, when you're ready to ship it out to your customer location, simply walk by, use our mobile app, scan those QR codes, and assign it to the customer. And that's all you need to do. From that point on, it just needs to be plugged in. So Nebula is designed to make things simpler for you. So when you set up your new Nebula network, it's got some basic network configs already applied and ready to go, so you can get general access for you. If you've got multiple sites, you can do site cloning, so you can find a site that's similar to what you want and simply clone that and change the few things that need to be changed. But we can get you up and going from basically taking the hardware out of the box, setting up your Nebula account for the first time, and having an access point broadcasting and doing captive portal in under 5 minutes. So there's no additional hardware or software, so there's no cloud keys, there's no wireless LAN controllers, there's no CNA boxes, nothing like that. With Nebula, all the devices automatically reach out to the cloud themselves, and the cloud handles all of your management functionality. So all of your customers, all of your networks are going to be able to be seen, managed, and monitored anywhere you've got mobile access, either through a web browser or through our mobile app. The mobile app is primarily designed for doing installation. So you use the app to scan the QR codes, assign the product to your customers. You can use it to take photos as you install the hardware. Those photos are stored in the cloud, so you can go in later if you have to go on site or send someone on site to service a certain piece of equipment. They can see where that specific piece of equipment was installed to help them find it quicker. You can do some basic wireless configuration through the app, and you can use the app to monitor your accounts and get push notifications. So we've got tons of different ways of doing captive portal. So the captive portal itself is fully customizable. We've got our own little editor in there. You can customize things, add your own logo. If you want to do even more customization of how that page looks, we make it so you can download the HTML, CSS files, edit them how you want, and then re-upload them to the cloud. Or you can have it point to your own server someplace if you want to add some functionality that Nebula itself doesn't have. But we have the ability to do terms of service page, usernames and passwords, have users register themselves, have users log in with Facebook. If you're using ProPack, we have Facebook Wi-Fi. So lots of flexibility here for doing guest access, whether it's a coffee shop, a hotel, or simply for visitors to an office. So on the wireless side of things, we have Smart Mesh. So not all your APs need to be plugged into an Ethernet connection. Those that are not will automatically put themselves in mesh mode and find other devices that do have the wired connection and create a mesh. Also works if for some reason one of those APs gets their connection severed, it'll automatically switch over to mesh mode to keep that AP functional. WPA2 Enterprise Security, and with our new APs, WPA3 Security. If you want to do Radius login, we have a built-in cloud authentication you can use. We can do dynamic VLANs where the cloud assigns a person a VLAN when they authenticate. And we support, 802.1R, K, V, all of those things for fast roaming and management. On the switch side of things, we have intelligent PoE, where instead of using the PoE standard for how it allocates PoE budget, which can be really inefficient, we can do real-time monitoring of the device, figure out how much power that device needs at peak, and only reserve that much power for you. We've got user-friendly ACL rules in there, VLANs, 802.1x authentication, LoopGuard, DHCP server guard, and the ability to virtually stack your switches for easier management. So everything is done over the air. Firmware updates, configuration changes, all of that. For firmware updates, you can schedule those at certain days and times to make that easy for you, but you don't have to go in and manually update the devices yourself. On the gateway side of things, we make it really easy to do site-to-site VPNs between Nebula gateways. Basically, just go in, select the gateways you want to VPN together, define whether you want it to be a hub and spoke or star topology, and it'll take care of the rest of the VPN configuration for you. So again, the idea here is to make it easy for you to keep an eye on your customers. So all of your customers are in there. If you have multiple sites, those sites are stored under each individual customer, making it really easy for you to find your customers, drill down into their networks, and be able to handle things, whether it's preventive maintenance or whether it's going in to fix or change a config. So you can see here, this is the screen you see when you first log in. It gives you a view of all your customers. Lets you know if they're using the free version or the paid version of Nebula. If they're using the paid version of Nebula, the status on their licenses, how many sites they have, how many devices they have online. Choose your customer, and then you'll be taken to this next view here, maybe. There we go. Which shows you all the sites they have. So you can see if you have a customer with multiple sites, you can put those sites on a Google map to get visual representation of where they're at. And you get another view similar to before, this time showing you your sites, status of those sites, health of those sites, etc. Then you can drill down further into the individual site you want to look at or manage. Oh, and I forgot to fix this slide, my bad. We've got white text on a white background. Basically what we're trying to show you here, there we go. All of these little widgets up here, these are customizable, so you can add or remove or reorganize them however you want. Up at the top, you've got drop-down menus that make it really easy for you to quickly jump between your customer sites or jump between individual customers. You can see things here on your dashboard, how many APs are online, how many users are online. If you're using our NSG gateways, we can break down traffic by individual app, which applications are using the bandwidth, which users are using your bandwidth, stuff like that. Then you can drill down even further to do your management, configuration, things like that, set up reports. So this is just showing you here. Here's a view of your clients, showing you what clients are connected to Wi-Fi, whether they're currently connected or not. All these columns here are customizable, so you can choose how much or how little you want to see. So we can see here the device description. We can tell you what chipset's being used, what speed they're connected at, their signal strength, etc. And we've charted out here for you over time to see how many users are online, how much bandwidth they're using. Another view here showing you what's going on your network. On the switch side of things, you can see here, we make it really easy for you to see which ports are currently active, which ones are providing PoE power, what speed they're at, and again, we can give you some charts here as far as bandwidth utilization goes on those. So, and just to drill in here, Nebula is free. And when we say free, we do mean free. There are no artificial caps on the number of devices you can manage, the number of customers you can manage, the number of sites you can manage. So it's not one of those, hey, you get 2 free and you want more, you got to pay, or hey, we give you a year free and from then on you got to start paying. Core Nebula functionality is free. And we do have a paid option that we'll talk about here a little bit later. So it's just showing here, we have dedicated Nebula equipment. We have the NSG security gateways. We have the NSW switches and the NAP series of access points. All of these devices are dedicated just for Nebula management, and all of them come with at least 1 year of the ProPack license. And then if that ProPack license expires and you don't want to renew it, it simply falls back to the free version. We also have a number of products out there called Nebula Flex. So Nebula Flex products are products that can be managed the standard way, you know, directly logging into a web GUI, or you can choose to manage them in Nebula. The process of switching is really simple. You simply log into Nebula, add the device to your Nebula account, and the device will reboot as a Nebula device. If at some point you no longer want the Nebula management, you just remove it out of the Nebula interface and it'll automatically reboot back into standalone mode. On the AP side of things, we also have something called Nebula Flex Pro. So Nebula Flex Pro indicates at the moment 2 things. One is that it includes at least 1 year of bundled Nebula ProPack when you buy the hardware. Also, all of the Nebula Flex Pro APs, in addition to being used in standalone mode, can also be managed with a controller. So that can be a dedicated NXC wireless LAN controller. It can also be one of our Zyxel or UAP series devices that have wireless LAN controller functionality built in on them. So I got ahead of myself here. So this is just showing here what happens to make a Nebula Flex device to manage it in the cloud. You simply need to have your Nebula account, need to have current firmware. Most products now are shipping with Nebula compatible firmware, so they'll automatically update the firmware on their own. And then again, you just register the device in Nebula and it'll automatically switch over to Nebula managed mode. And then if you want to take it off, you simply unregister it from the cloud and it'll reboot in standalone mode. So now we'll talk about the licenses that are available. So the first one is our professional pack. Our professional pack is aimed at MSPs. It unlocks a few new features, but it's mainly focused on giving you greater reporting and some proactive capability. We'll talk about some of those here coming forward. So ProPack, some of the things that get you don't get with the free version is it gets you status alerts that can be sent via email or push notification to let you know when a device goes offline. We store a year's worth of logs in the cloud instead of just a week's worth of logs in the cloud on the free version. We give you a number of different reports, and I think we'll talk about some of those here on upcoming slides. We keep a user audit log, or I guess you would call it more of an admin audit log, so we'll track every configuration change, who made it and when, so you can always look that up, trying to figure out, you know, if troubleshooting something, well, why did we configure it this way? You can find out which of your techs did it. The ability to export a lot of data in a CSV or XML file. Automatic topology view, where we'll show you what's plugged in and connected to each other. You can see that view right there. On the switches, we give you more granular control over bandwidth configuration, allowing you to set per port uplink and downlink speeds, individual user level bandwidth rules. If you're doing IPTV, Nebula ProPack unlocks some additional IGMP settings that you can configure to customize it to optimize for IPTV broadcasts. We also have a number of reports that show you what's going on with IPTV, who's watching what channels. But more importantly, we'll let you know when we've detected anything that might cause frame skips or things like that on the network and give you suggestions on what settings should be changed to help smooth those out. And what did I just do here? Oops, there we go. Okay. So there's what the report looks like. Skip through that here. So we have a wireless health report. It's only available on those APs listed on there, our Wave 2 APs and now our newer Wi-Fi 6 APs. So it gives you a report where basically we track each client device and we take a look at packet retransmits and airtime utilization to let you know which client devices are having issues. So you can proactively go in and figure out who it is, figure out where they are and why they're having those issues. You can see there the little chart where we chart each individual client device and the quality of their connection over time. So you can see if it's a certain time of day that's causing problems. You know, at a certain time, are they taking their laptop and walking out into the break room? Is that what's going on? What's happening there? Help you figure out where you might need to add new APs or change some channels. So ProPack also unlocks the ability to clone existing sites or existing organizations, the ability to do backup and restore points on your switches, and we've been rolling out configuration templates, adding more and more features to those, which will allow you to change configuration settings across multiple sites at the same time. And we unlock Facebook Wi-Fi. So the free version of Nebula, you absolutely can log into your guest portal using your Facebook account. Facebook Wi-Fi is a separate program offered by Facebook for businesses that basically gets the customer to check into your business in order to get access to the internet, and it shares certain information from Facebook will share to give you some analytics that you can use. So Facebook login, available free and paid. Facebook Wi-Fi is only on ProPack. So those are the key things you're getting with the ProPack. Now we'll talk about the security pack. So this is just for our NSG gateways. So if you're using an NSG gateway, it will come with 1 year of the security pack out of the box, as well as 1 year of ProPack. So the security license unlocks for you UTM functionality, antivirus, content filtering, application intelligence and control, IDP, and some analytic tools for you. So we have the ability to do application awareness, so we can generate reports and tell you what's going on the network based on individual application, not just user or type of traffic. We can also use that to set up rules for blocking traffic or doing bandwidth management on specific types of traffic based on the application. Antivirus, we've got a number of reports showing you what attacks have been blocked, when they came in, which devices were targeted, where the attack came from. So here's a quick summary of the licenses. So Nebula Free gets you that zero-touch deployment, gets you access to configure just about everything in all the devices, gets you an unlimited number of devices to manage, customers to manage, sites to manage, includes Smart Mesh, includes our phone support, includes our lifetime warranty. Upgrading to the Professional Pack unlocks all the stuff we've just been talking about. The Professional Pack is available as either an annual license or as a perpetual license. So if you don't want to deal with annual renewals and reaching out to touch your customer and resell those to them, you can simply buy a perpetual license. It's sort of like a site license. You lock in a number of seats. I want X number of APs, X number of switches, X number of gateways. From that point on, you don't have to worry and buy a new license again, even if you swap out hardware, if you do upgrades, anything like that. And then we've got the Security Pack, which is completely separate from the Nebula and the Professional Pack, which is just for those security services on our NSG gateway. So on security gateways, we've got just a handful of models. These are our NSG models. The primary difference between all of them is the number of ports they have and the horsepower, the amount of users they can support or bandwidth they can support. So that's what you're looking at when you're trying to decide which one of these to buy. You can reach out to our sales guys. They can help figure out exactly which model you need. But all of them come with 1 year of Pro Pack and 1 year of the security services. On the switch side of things, we have the dedicated NSW series switches. Those all include 1 year of Pro Pack. And then any of our GS 1920 V2 switches, our 1930 series switches, all of those are Nebula Flex. So all of those can be managed with Nebula, and you can add Pro Pack if you want it. They don't come with any Pro Pack. Later this year, the 1350 series switches will also be upgraded to be able to be managed through Nebula. And on the AP side of things, pretty much everything is a Nebula Flex these days. The dedicated NAP series access points, those all include 3 years of Pro Pack out of the box. Our 1000 series are pure Nebula Flex. No Pro Pack is included with them, so that's the 1123, the 1302, etc. And then everything 5000 series and higher is Nebula Flex Pro and includes 1 year of Nebula Pro Pack out of the box. All of those APs could also be controller managed if you'd rather use them for that. The only exception to this is the NWA 5123 AC. It does not have enough memory in it to support Nebula. So the NWA 5123 AC does not support Nebula. However, the 5123 AC HD does. Hope that helps. I know it's a lot to take in. So if you've liked what you've heard, you want to learn a little bit more about it, you want to play with it, we've got a live demo you can go log into right now from any web browser, nebula.zyxel.com. Click to log in, we've got demo account details there, so you can log in with those demo accounts, that demo account, and see a couple different sites we've got set up that you can play around with. If you'd like some hardware to play with, reach out to your salesperson. So that's going to be Ivan, Sandy, or Jacob. Sorry, my mind's not working too well today. As long as you're a part of our partner program, we can get you hooked up with the 60-day demo so you have some actual hardware to play around with. So that concludes today's quick little Nebula webinar. My email's up there, seanr@zyxel.com. Feel free to email me anything, any feedback, any suggestions, any ideas for upcoming webinar topics. We're always looking for your suggestions as to what you would like to see us do, how we can better help you. And otherwise, if you have some questions, you can send them in with the Q&A box. Let's start taking a look at some of those. So we'll start with Carlton Johnson's question. What type of signal would be required from the IoT device to manage that IoT device? Just being able to connect to the internet is enough. So Nebula is for managing our hardware. So, any of our devices, it's simply you plug them in, give them power and an internet connection, and that's all they need. In the case of APs, they just need power, and they will automatically mesh. So they don't necessarily, each one doesn't necessarily need a Ethernet connection. If you're talking third-party IoT devices, you know, those are not going to be managed through Nebula. They'll work on the network just as they would work with any other Wi-Fi or Ethernet type network. But you wouldn't be managing them. If they're Wi-Fi, you know, you could see their client status. You could check them and monitor them from just as you would any other sort of client. But it wouldn't let you, you know, monitor or manage third-party devices. Hope that answered your question. Joe is asking about where to find the antivirus reports. Again, you need to have an NSG gateway. You need to have the Nebula security services activated, and the reports will show up there. I forget on the interface exactly where it is, but I believe you can go into the NSG management and go into monitoring, and you should have the reports there. And if you're having problems finding them, just reach out to your salesperson or drop me an email, and I can screenshot it and send it over to you. And Nizar is asking a question here. Let's see. We've taken up a customer who has an old NWA 1123 NI AP. Wow, that is ancient. Yeah, so the NWA 1123 NI is not Nebula compatible. You're not going to be able to manage that. You'll need to get some new hardware. So NWA 1123 ACV2, NWA 1123 AC Pro, NWA 1123 AC HD, all of those can be managed with Nebula. Older stuff like the NI, which has been discontinued for, what, 4 or 5 years now, is not going to be able to get managed. It's too old, doesn't have enough memory. So Michael is asking, is there any issue using this system with an ATP 100 or 200 firewall? So that's a good question. A lot of people out there don't want to use our NSG gateway. Maybe they've got something like one of our ATPs they'd rather use. Maybe they've got a Cisco or some other gateway that came in from their service provider, their ISP, and they don't want to replace it. That's perfectly fine. So you can still use Nebula to manage your switches and access points on that network. Nebula plays nice with any other vendor's brand of equipment, so it doesn't have to be, you know, all Nebula or nothing. It's just you won't be able to use the Nebula interface to manage that non-NSG gateway. So you would still just manage it like you do now. You would, you know, directly go into it or use whatever tools that company provides for managing the gateway. But your APs and switches, if they're Nebula compatible, you can still keep using those. And just manage the gateway by itself. So that includes the ATP. The ATPs are not Nebula compatible, so you would manage them either directly using SecuReporter, using CNC, or whatever your preferred tool is to manage those gateways. At some point, there will be some new models coming out that will eventually get upgraded to be Nebula compatible, but that's not going to be anytime soon. So for now, if you want Nebula to manage the gateway, you do have to use the NSG series gateways. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. So if you're typing something in, highlight it and copy it, and just email it to me. Again, my email's up there on the screen. It's Sean R., Sean spelled phonetically, S-H-A-W-N, and then the letter R at Zyxel.com. Just email me directly, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And again, if you have any ideas for other topics, we're using the same topics a little too often here. So we would love your feedback for other sorts of trainings, tech days, things like that, you could give us so we can put together some additional stuff that you might find valuable for either yourself or some of your techs or employees. But thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone turning out today.